What's going well in your family? Take a moment and ask yourself that question. In the chaos of family life, something must be going right. And not just what you are doing, but what the family is doing. What is going well in your family? What ideas are coming to your mind? Perhaps the kids are doing all of their chores without you reminding them. If so, tell the rest of us your secret. On the flip side, if you asked your family that question, you might be surprised to hear their answers. What would your wife say is going well in your family? Or even more tricky, what would your kids say? Today I want to introduce you to a simple yet remarkably powerful conversation you can have with your family. It's a strategy that has been adapted from the world of software development and agile practices. Thousands of people are having this conversation every week all around the world. Yet this conversation is happening nearly exclusively in workplaces with their coworkers. Very few are doing this with their families. You can be one of the few. Today I will share with you how to run a weekly family retro meeting. You and I will explore the benefits of this simple practice, and I have plenty of stories to share with you on how to do it right and how to do it wrong. And if you stick around to the end, I'll share with you a free resource I've created that you can download to help get your family retros up and running. Are you ready? Let's go. First, let me share what this meeting is and where it comes from. Retro is short for retrospective, or in other words, looking back and reflecting on the past. A retro meeting is a time for a team of people to come together and reflect on how they are working together as a team. This practice comes from the world of software development, where computer programmers work in usually 2-week sprints. And at the end of the sprint, they hold a retro meeting to discuss what happened and, more importantly, how well they worked together as a team. Now, I actually have several years' experience working in various tech companies where we did different versions of this meeting, so I'm quite familiar with this format in a work setting. But one book changed my perspective on retrospectives. See what I did there? This book is called The Secrets of Happy Families by Bruce Feiler. I highly recommend this book. It is packed with so many innovative, powerful, and practical ways you can lead a happy family. Bruce discovered how one family, the Bowmans from Idaho, were adopting several practices from software development. The dad, David, was a software engineer and had the brilliance to see how the team-building practices he used at work could be applied to his family life. A retro meeting has one goal and 3 questions. The goal for the team, or family, is to come together and reflect on how they are operating as a team. But beyond that, at the end of the meeting, the team will set a goal for how to improve in the next sprint. The brilliance comes in the simplicity. There's only 3 questions you need to discuss as a family. 1. What are we doing well? 2. What can we do better at? And 3. What will we commit to do? That's it. The questions are simple, but the answers and conversations will open your eyes. As Bruce says, quote, I was struck by how eager the children were to provide answers. The answers to the second question were even more revelatory. But the real magic occurred when they moved to the final question. Next, I want to share a few examples with you, some good and some bad, about how to run a family retro. But before we get there, if you are finding value in this episode, make sure you hit that subscribe or follow button. That way you'll never miss out on any new content. Also, if you could share this episode with a friend of yours, I would really appreciate that. When you share this episode, and maybe even send a little note along with it, that does so much to help other dads along their fatherhood adventure. Lastly, you can help me and the Dad Venture Show by leaving a rating or review. Those go a long way in helping this pod to rise in the charts and grow the audience, which means helping more dads to be the dads that their kids need and deserve. Okay, some examples of good and bad family retros. When I was growing up, on Sunday nights, we would hold what my parents called a family council. These were the most boring meetings of my young life. Admittedly, most meetings as a kid were probably pretty boring, but this one really took the cake. Basically, we would all bring our calendars together around the kitchen table, and Mom and Dad would sit at opposite ends of the table with their Franklin Covey day planners sprawled out in front of them. We would go day by day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., coordinating our schedules. I'm sure we talked about other stuff like rules or whatever, but what I remember most was coordinating calendars. Pretty boring stuff as a kid. Now, I don't mean to knock my parents. I'm sure these meetings were crucial for their sanity and coordination as the adults in the family. But nearly every week, mom and dad would start to get into an intricate coordination conversation, and we kids would say, "Can we be done, please?" And then we could go while they continued the conversation. Not a lot of involvement from me as a kid. So imagine how different a family retro meeting could be. With those three simple questions, the kids and parents engage in a meaningful conversation. Insights come from reflection. You'll be surprised at the things your kids are observing, and that they can articulate those observations. But the key is to keep it focused on the family. How is the family working together as a unit, as a team? Bruce learned this lesson the hard way in his first attempt at running a family retro. The results were, shall we say, disastrous. According to his book, these were the questions that he asked. See if you can spot the fatal flaw. 1. What went right in your life this week? 2. What did not go right in your life? 3. What will you work on next week? Do you see the difference? On the surface, these adapted questions are quite similar to the original ones. But there's a small shift in focus. His kids complained, shared irrelevant things, and his wife was, as he says, quote, flipping through a catalog. Ouch, not a win. When Bruce called David Bowman and shared his experience, David had this to say, quote, "You're focusing on the wrong thing. The purpose of the meetings is not to talk about each of you as individuals. It's to focus on how you're functioning as a family." Bruce refocused the questions back on the family and tried again. The result? Quote, "Suddenly, amazing things started coming out of our daughters' mouths. The insights were minor, but hearing the girls articulate them left us gobsmacked." I don't know if I've ever used the word gobsmacked in a podcast before, so points go to Bruce. Well, what are you waiting for? Are you ready to hear the amazing things that your kids will say about your family? Before you run out and try your first family retro, I have one more story for you. And I have a free guide on how to run your family retros that I need to share with you. We'll be right back. Hey there, Dad. Are you looking for easy ways to strengthen your bond with your kids? I get it. Life can be hectic, but connecting with your little ones doesn't have to be complicated. I have a free resource for you. 10 incredibly easy ways to connect with your kids today. Packed with simple, research-backed, practical tips, this guide will help you create meaningful moments with your children, even on the busiest of days. Head over to adventures.dad/free download and get your hands on this invaluable resource today. Because the moments you share with your kids today will become the memories they cherish forever. Go to adventures.dad/free download to get this free guide today. I ran a family retro with my family this past Sunday, and I cannot express to you how amazing these little meetings are. First, the setting. I have 4 kids, so I adapted the 3 questions, wrote them on a Google Doc, and then connected my computer to the TV in the living room so that everyone could see. Question 1. What are we doing well as a family? Here's a sampling of responses. We're going on bike rides and doing dad ventures. We're playing some board games together. We're playing Super Smash Bros. Together and not fighting about it. And we're all alive. I'm grateful for that one. Like Bruce shared before, the magic really starts to happen with question 2. What can we improve as a family? Here's what my family had to say. Eat dinner together more often. Keep the house clean. Start brushing our teeth. No eating on the carpet. Go bowling as a family, and so on. What I loved about this is the kids will literally tell you what their ideal family life is like. They'll say the things that are annoying them, and the things they wish were happening more. And we as parents get to say it too. We are literally co-creating our family life together. It's powerful. And question 3. What will we do better this week? We chose 2 from our list of things we could do better: personal grooming and eating dinner together. But we didn't just leave it at that. I asked a few follow-up questions. What is preventing us from doing that now? What solutions can we do to help us be successful? What is the good consequence if we are successful with this goal? And what is at stake if we're not? The solutions my kids came up with were great. a morning inspection of personal grooming before the kids run out the door, a new time in which we could all gather for dinner. The problem solving and the discussion was simply brilliant. And as a nod to my parents, I actually asked a fourth question. Do you have anything happening out of the ordinary this week? The kids let me know that they wouldn't have school on Friday, and that a few of them had tests earlier in the week, so they needed help studying their spelling words. My wife and I were able to bring up the primary caucus happening in our state and how we would take time to vote, which led into a 2-minute explanation of how we elect our president, and a few friends' birthday parties popped up as well. But here's the neat part. The day after our retro, with our goal being better personal grooming, I observed this quick exchange between my daughters. The younger one, preschool age, had come out of the bathroom, clearly without washing her hands. My older daughter, a teenager, pulled her aside and said, "Did you wash your hands? Remember our family goal this week? We need to wash our hands after we use the bathroom." "Oh yeah," my preschooler said, and went back to the bathroom to wash her hands. Yes! Family win! My daughter has become an advocate for our family goals. So I go back to the question at the beginning of this episode. What's going well in your family? What could be going better in your family? What will you, as a family, commit to do better this week? I invite you to ask these questions to your family. Find a day, time, and place where you can turn off distractions and run your own family retro. I would love to hear about your experience after you try your first one. Send me a message on Instagram at adventures.dad or email me using the email address aaron@adventures.dad. Both of those are linked in the show notes for this episode. But don't go just yet. I believe in the power of these family retros, and I believe in your impact as a dad to run these retros. I want you to be successful with this simple strategy. So I've created for you a free 1-page guide on how to run a retro. This guide has simple instructions as well as the 3 questions you need to ask, and it's free. You can download it and print it out so that you have it on hand when you run the meeting. Or you can download it and type out the answers on your computer like I did with my family. Either way, you'll find that this free guide will set you up for success with a family retro meeting. You can download your free guide today at adventures.dad/retro. That's adventures.dad/retro. Retro is spelled RETRO. Adventures.dad/retro. I will also put a link in the show notes and you can download it there. You can do this, Dad. Imagine the awesome things your kids will say. Imagine the ways your family can grow and improve as you commit to being better each week. As Bruce says, quote, "The family meeting provided that rare window into my children's innermost thoughts." I believe in you. Thank you for allowing me to join you on the adventure of a lifetime being a dad. Hey there, Dad. Are you looking for easy ways to strengthen your bond with your kids? I get it. Life can be hectic, but connecting with your little ones doesn't have to be complicated. I have a free resource for you. 10 incredibly easy ways to connect with your kids today. Packed with simple, research-backed, practical tips, this guide will help you create meaningful moments with your children even on the busiest of days. Head over to adventures.dad/free download and get your hands on this invaluable resource today. Because the moments you share with your kids today will become the memories they cherish forever. Go to adventures.dad/free download to get this free guide today.